Deck bonding. We're going to look at another Chris doing a demo for us, but with the Sabatack 715. Tell us a little bit about this product, Rich.
So 715, same technology as the rest of the range. People who are more familiar with SABA products might have used this in the past under the term Sabatack. It's been changed to 715 just to keep the number theme continuing through the whole range. But the main difference with 715 to the rest of the range is the product's a little bit thinner. So I believe fairly shortly we're going to see a video of it being the product being applied. But yeah, whilst the technology is the same, it's optimized, I suppose, for the way that Chris is about to apply it.
We've got a sausage again here, which is again a kit that we quite often don't deal with at home. Does it only come in sausages?
715 does only come in sausages, yeah, but it's not necessarily a showstopper in that sense. You'd have to rush out and buy a gun that's compatible with sausages. You've got a couple of options really. You can what you saw just before was Chris cut round the end. You can do that, make a slightly smaller cut and just squeeze it straight out of the bag the way that Chris is here. Or you'll notice if you look closely, the bottom end of the gun, there's a sort of a dome-shaped cup that you can attach a nozzle to. If you take that to the sausage, you can use it in much the same way that you would use a piping bag in cake making. So yeah, you can still get around it.
Now earlier we talked about bonding, and we put on that fender bonding video earlier, we put two neat lines of adhesive down and talked about the fact that moisture can get, we trap a bit of moisture in there as we bond it and it helps it cure it off. But Chris in this instance has just put lots of squiggly bits of glue around the place. So why is that going to go off? Do we have a problem here?
Well, what you're about to see Chris do here is he's going to comb the adhesive out quite nicely. That illustrates what we mentioned just before about the product being much thinner, but also timber will hold a certain amount of moisture itself, and the moisture within the timber will help the product cure. So it does need to be laid down a little bit thinner, which is where the combing's helping out. But yeah, it will still cure for sure.
Okay, and we do in just for Marineware, we do a whole load of epoxy adhesives. Why would you choose a flexible adhesive like this rather than an epoxy?
I'd say the main advantage overall with flexible adhesives, and something I forgot to cover in when we were talking about window bonding actually, is you tend to find with different materials, you know, laying a teak deck onto a GRP boat or a metal boat, and so the same with windows, is things expand and contract at different rates, and a flexible adhesive will deal with that quite well. But if you've got a very strong but brittle adhesive, and things move at different rates, you might find things break away. So distinct advantage to a big tick in the flexible adhesives box there.
Yeah, I also, we did some work a little while back, this is going back a few years, but we found that actually using the flexible adhesives gave you a better sound characteristic inside the boat as well. Though we found the epoxy ones were probably better for doing large panels, you know, when you're doing pre-made panels, which they put onto most boats now. But traditionally laid decks tend to prefer these flexible ones. Yeah, no mix ratio to get wrong either. But okay, that's good. Well, we'll speed Chris up a little bit here on his bonding, and we'll see how fast he can put some planks down. That's pretty impressive, Chris. Nice work. A little tidy up. Make sure it's all straight. So there's some teak bonded down. Do we need to worry about cleaning or prepping the teak a little bit, Rich?
If I say the usual rules apply, what I mean by that is anybody dealing with teak, whether they're coating it or bonding it to something, would try to give it a good clean and try and remove surface oils and that kind of thing before they try and bond it down. The same principle applies here. There is a cleaner, that Cleaner 21, which we would use for that. That is naturally our preferred option, but there are other ways of doing it. There are other people who might have also noticed that there's a wood primer. It's not necessarily badged as a wood primer these days, but as long as you clean and prepare your teak in the way that you would do for other applications, you're generally fine.
Just getting the oil out of it, I take it.
Yeah, really, getting the oil out is the main thing. And again, if you're not 100% sure, you can take some general advice on preparing teak, and SABA's no different in that sense. There isn't really a special process particularly. So
brilliant. Chris, have we got any questions on those subjects?
Yeah, loosely. SABA used to have a product called Sabatack. Can any of the other products be used for deck caulking, for actually going between the planks?
Okay, so if we're talking about caulking which has nothing else over the top as kind of a UV blocker, so just traditional deck caulking, then the answer is no. We at Marineware tend to refer people over to another product we supply from TDS, which is generally considered to be the market leader in boatyards these days. But if you are caulking a deck that you're going to varnish or coat in some way, shape or form, then 750 XL is a very, very good product for that. So it's, again, we're leaping back to the idea of the products being solvent free. You can lay 750 XL down into the seams and then varnish over the top, and you'll know for sure that you won't have anything interfering with the coatings over the top. And the UV stability from the varnish or whatever clear finish you're putting over the top will keep everything in place. So yeah, there isn't a specific deck caulk. It was available once upon a time, but not now. But yeah, we do have an answer for that within Marineware.
Okay, great. I think we've covered all the questions for now. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer, and if anyone wants to send any in, we'll come to them.
Well, that's brilliant, Rich. Thank you so much for your input today. I can clearly see why you are the man at Marineware for SABA. So thank you. I'm just going to put your face up on the screen so you can wave goodbye to everybody there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. That's been brilliant. Also, like to thank Chris very much for dealing with our questions and answers, and also for his hard work doing all of those demo panels. So Rich, Chris, thank you very much. Right. And finally, from myself, thank you for joining us today. Keep an eye out. When we do these webinars, we do break them down into separate subjects and put them up as short videos on our YouTube channel, which you can get to at our website at Marineware. And we plan to do more webinars later this year. We're trying to keep them all about helpful tips and pro tips and things like that. So please keep an eye out and come and join us again. For the moment, thank you for joining us. See you again soon.